Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright Spirit of Justice, where last episode we began Turnabout Storyteller, now defending Bucky Wet, who is currently passed out, super inebriated by alcohol, against the accusation of killing a certain Geiru Toneido, a Rakugo performer. With now Simon Blackwell on the stand as our primary witness, and with Nayuta Sadmari, the prosecutor. The prosecutors are multiplying, they're everywhere, as we have just navigated our first testimony. Or have we? Why not let it go all now and allow the victim his last rites? Not on your life! Uendo went into the dressing room too and was the first to discover the body. Then who's to say he didn't commit the crime? Uendo was in the dressing room for a mere 2, perhaps 3 minutes. He could not have possibly committed murder in that time, nor without making any noise. Oh, Simon, why did you have to give that awful testimony? Prosecutor Blackwell, can't you give me something a little better to work with here? You can't say that outright. It isn't up to you to ask the right questions. I'm certainly willing to tell you all that I know. So if you truly are as capable as you claim, then draw out what you need yourself. There's no time for your twisted games, Prosecutor Blackwell. Just admit you don't remember it all that well. Prosecutor Blackwell, watching you collude with the defense like this, I see that you are no prosecutor. Begone, witness. You shall haunt this sacred hall no more. How dare you treat me like some evil spirit to be exorcised? I'll remember this, you blackguard. Don't worry, Prosecutor Blackwell. I've got this. Would I have my way, he would not be the only one here to step down. You half-boiled putrid egg yolk. Oh, I object to the notion that I'm a gooey, smelly mess. Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony was like the lowly opening act of a Rakugo show. He may hold the title of prosecutor, but this time he stood on the side of the defense. To restore balance to this trial, I would like to present an actual witness for the prosecution. And who is this witness? The person who was with Prosecutor Blackwell when the body was discovered. She is another entertainer of the Toneido school, Miss Geiru Toneido. Are we starting from the legs up? What? Are you a clown? Please state your name and occupation, witness. Hello everyone, I'm here to represent the Toneido School of a Twisty Twist Twist! And balloon! There you have it! A stunning balloon hat! It's me, the balloon artist you all know and love, Geiru Toneido! Just call me Geiru, sweetie. 1, 2, balloon! What the hell? What the hell? What a way to capture your audience's attention, you dirty old man. I dare say I can't take my eyes off those balloons. What are we saying? Please tell me you're talking about the hat, Your Honor. Oh, Mr. Judgy, I'm so glad you liked my performance. Would you consider joining my fan club? Pretty please. Oh, absolutely. And please save your fanboying for after the trial, Your Honor. Anyway, Geiru, I can't help but notice you seem awfully cheerful for having just lost your master. Of course I'm sad. But Shisho would scold me if I didn't put on a big smile. Never show sadness, smile, 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 with a twisty, twisty twist. And balloon, there you have it. One gorgeous cake. I see. I guess an entertainer's got to do what an entertainer's got to do. That balloon art's worse than a Rorschach test. All I saw was a severed monster head. Yes, I see the eyes. Geiru, you're obviously a balloon artist. So how did you come to be a member of a Rakugo school? Well, my father, my late father that is, was a Rakugo artist, you see. So I joined the Toneido school to be just like my daddy someday. I see. My father and I owe so much to Shisho, our master, for that Bucky Wet. Ooh, how could he? I want to see him pay for what he's done as quickly as possible.
Your distress is entirely understandable, and my condolences for your loss.
And not only that, but he... You have more to say about Mr. Wet? Every time he comes to deliver soba to us, he yells at me. He always tells me to get away. Is there any reason why he would say such a thing to you? He says the smell of my perfume will get into his soba and ruin it. Like, how can he say that? This is a great scent.
How very rude of him. I don't blame you for being upset.
Excuse me, Your Honor, but please don't let Geiru's balloons bias your judgment. Mr. Wet hasn't been proven guilty yet, remember? It will be interesting to see how long that fire of yours will last, offense. Now then, Geiru, please share the truth with this court.
Yes, Geiru, your testimony, please.
Before the murder was discovered. From 4 p.m. to a little after 4:20 p.m, when Shisho's body was found, Simon and I were standing in the hallway in front of the dressing room. Before Uendo discovered the body, the only person who had gone in there was Bucky. Come to think of it, a little while before Bucky showed up, Jugemu was barking like mad. Prosecutor Blackwell, do you have any objections to this witness's testimony?
No. Make up your bloody mind, sad monk, son Mary. First you exercise me, now this.
You need only do as you are instructed by this humble servant of the Holy Mother. As there are no objections, Your Honor, let us move on to the salvation of the victim's soul. Hey, I'm the defense attorney here, Prosecutor Sad Maddie, and I just might have an objection or two once I actually cross-examine the witness. So what are you asking Prosecutor Blackwell for? I'm the one you should be checking with. There is a passage in the sacred scriptures of Khura'anism. To stir the wind is beyond the power of a spring chick. In other words, the inexperienced are useless. With that in mind, it seemed more judicious to consult Prosecutor Blackwell.
He doesn't even see you as an adversary, Sykes Dono.
Well, I won't let either one of you insult me. I'll show you I'm no inexperienced spring chick. Your Honor, I'm ready to cross-examine the witness.
I hope you can make Prosecutor Sad Maddie see you as a worthy adversary, Miss Sykes. I'll allow your cross-examination, so you better strike while the iron is hot.
Before the murder was discovered. From 4 p.m. to a little after 4:20 p.m. when Shisho's body was found. Press, press, press. So the murder must have happened sometime in those 20 minutes, correct? But 20 minutes isn't a lot of time, is it? I don't know. I mean, what do you want me to say? That's what happened, you know. Isn't that right, Simon?
Yes, Geiru and I can both confirm that Master Toneido still lived at around 4 p.m.
Oh yeah, you can, can't you? See? The autopsy report kind of contradicts that time of death area a bit more. Simon and I were standing in the hallway in front of the dressing room. The fact that the two of you were there in front of the dressing room means you were able to see everyone who went in and out, right? Of course. Or are you insinuating that I was daydreaming or sleeping while standing up or something? No, of course not. I saw everything, I tell you. But fine, as you say anyway. But did you really? Before Uendo discovered the body, the only person who had gone in there was Bucky. Only the defendant and Uendo entered around the time of the murder. That's right. That's why it must have been Bucky who killed poor Shishu. Let's take a deep breath, okay, Geiru? So not a single other person set foot into the dressing room during that time? I already told you over and over, didn't I? There was nobody else. I must apologize on the lawyer's behalf. Even her memory is that of a spring chick's. Please overlook her transgression as best you can. Oh, I see. Poor thing. Hang in there, sweetie. Hey, who are you calling a bird brain buddy? Come to think of it, a little while before Bucky showed up, Jugemu was barking like mad.
Hold it!
Why? Jugemu? That's my doggy. I keep him at the theatre. Let's see. With a twisty twist. And balloon! There you have it. My cute little Jugemu. He's kind of creepy looking. Oh, but he's a really, really good boy. And why was Jugemu barking? Do you think it's because he saw someone suspicious? If so, then we'd have a new suspect in this case. Now, why he was barking again? Oh, I remember, because it was time for me to feed him. So I went into his yard and gave him some food. Couldn't somebody have slipped into the dressing room while you were doing that? Nope, the door out into the yard was wide open. I would have seen if anybody went into the dressing room.
No, you wouldn't have.
Prosecutor Blackwell, come down to the stand for a second, please.
How many times must I do this?
You saw what Geiru was talking about, right? So why didn't you mention it before?
I can't be expected to remember every minute detail.
Well, remember them now, please. Did Geiru go out into the yard?
Yes, I remember now that she went to feed Jugemu. And I saw her looking toward the dressing room quite frequently as well.
Do you recall anything else?
It looked as though she was feeding the dog a great quantity of dumplings or something. Jugemu couldn't finish them all, so he buried the rest in a corner of the yard. That's about all I can remember. Okay, Simon's statement has been updated for pressing that one.
Looks like Geiru was telling the truth. Your Honor, I'd like Geiru's last statement added to her testimony.
As you wish, defense.
I was in the yard, but the door was wide open, so I could keep watch on the dressing room.
Right, well, we know what this is now, so that's fine by me.
Let's just, present rather than press. Because as we can see from the door diagram, the way the door swings out, with the door wide open, completely blocks all view of the dressing room entirely.
Objection!
Yep. So you were able to keep an eye on the dressing room while you were out in the yard? Is that correct? That's right. The door out into the yard was wide open. Sorry, but that makes zero sense. Take a look at this diagram in the backstage area. There is a clear contradiction between this diagram and the witness's testimony.
Oh? I'm afraid I don't understand, Miss Sykes. Please point out what contradicts the witness's testimony. I guess we're gonna do the area where the door swings open to.
Take that!
Geiru was in the yard near the doghouse. Prosecutor Blackwell even saw her there. And while she was out there, the door to the yard had been left open.
Ah, I see.
Yes, if the door to the yard was wide open, as Geiru said, it would have blocked her view, making it impossible for her to see the dressing room. What? No way! But even if there were, admittedly, a few moments Geiru was not keeping watch, how much would that really affect this case? It would have greatly affected the case. From the spot Prosecutor Blackwell stood, he couldn't see the dressing room door either. Anyone could have entered the dressing room during that time without being seen. Nah! Double slap is quite aggressive there. Geiru, why are you trying to hide the fact that you weren't watching the dressing room? What?
Objection!
Hide the fact? You speak as though you think she had something to do with the murder. Rather than deliberate deception, it was more likely a simple oversight. Right, witness? Well, I was so shocked by what happened, I was just confused, that's all. Even though she is trying to keep up a brave front as an entertainer, the truth is that she is being torn apart by grief. For her mind to be in turmoil is hardly unexpected.
Yes, it must be very difficult indeed.
To a disciple, one's master is akin to a real parent. Surely her shock is immense. The way this lawyer tries to pin the blame on this poor soul at the first opportunity. All I can say is, defense attorneys are heartless creatures indeed. But that wasn't what I was trying to do. Is it beyond your comprehension, defense? Your unskilled argument is scarring this witness even further. And if we asked the people of this courtroom, I am sure they would agree. What? The gallery doesn't get a say in this? Are you afraid to find out that they think ill of you? Or that perhaps you are in the wrong? Listen to them now with that keen sense of hearing you were so proud of. He's right. That was harsh. She didn't have to go that far. I feel kind of sorry for the witness. And why is the lawyer's outfit so yellow? No, I was just trying to find the truth. Why is the whole gallery siding with Prosecutor Said Maddie? The people understand. They know what is right and what is wrong. That lawyer's still in training, isn't she? Why is she all by herself? I hear the voices of the gallery. I can hear the voices of their hearts. It's so intense. I feel so alone up here, fighting by myself. Are you afraid, child? It is ludicrous to come to a trial with such paltry preparation of the soul. I command you to leave this courtroom at once. But I can't give up. I have to keep pressing on. As long as there was a moment when nobody was watching the dressing room door, the defendant can't be convicted solely on Prosecutor Blackwell and Geiru's testimonies. Even now you would continue to resist. You are childish in defeat as well, I see. I'm not out for the count yet, Buster. I'm just getting started. Despite your posturing, is it not true that your resolve could crumble at any moment? With but a little push, you would surely succumb to despair. A little push such as with this piece of conclusive evidence. Conclusive evidence, huh? That is correct. We found a critical piece of evidence at the scene of the crime. The victim's dying message, which clearly implicates the accused, Bucky Wet. Look at these Japanese playing cards, known as karuta, lined up on the table. These special English version karuta cards spell out a message, special English version, eh? That message, wet number 4. Wet no 4? You mean wet noodle number 4? Yes, wet noodle number 4, as the 4th head chef of Wet Soba is also known. This message points to none other than the accused, Bucky Wet. No!
That makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Wow, great job, Mr. Prosecutor. Oh no, this is really, really bad. What do I do? What do I do? The crime scene report has been updated in the court record. Contains photos of the crime scene. The victim's dying message is clearly visible in them. But if he'd suffocated, dying message is not normally a thing someone makes. And nothing was found inside of him, which hints, of course, that he wasn't murdered by something being stuck in his throat or something like that. So we'd have been actively strangled to death. You would have no time to do a dying message, surely. Would you still carry on your futile fight in the face of this irrefutable evidence? You can say whatever you want, but we won't know until we... It is cruel to give the accused false hope. He will only compound his suffering. Wise people of the courtroom, do you not agree? He's right. It's cruel to make him suffer when there's conclusive evidence. What incompetent noob! I feel bad for the victim and the defendant. What? But I'm trying to prove Mr. West's innocence here. I know you can hear them, defense. Their voices implore you to save the accused soul. It is time for you to let it go and move on, you inexperienced lawyer. You lack the competence with which to accomplish anything meaningful here. Is he right? Is this too much for me to handle on my own?
What good is she doing anybody? She should just quit right now.
Now, defense, leave everything to this humble servant of the Holy Mother.
Silence.
He's trying to use your keen sense of hearing against you to manipulate the trial, Athena. What a cheap trick for a supposedly holy man.
Simon?
And you fop doodles in the gallery. Can't a man watch a trial in peace? This inexperienced amateur is about to turn the trial around.
Does that prosecutor really think she can turn things around? The mood in this courtroom is starting to change.
Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you doing at the defense's bench? I grew bored of watching from the gallery. Besides, if I were to leave this trial to this spring chick and lose my favorite sober shop in the process, I would be quite cross.
You voluntarily stand on the side of impurity and sin? Truly, what a fool you are.
To think he was so easily manipulated by his parlor tricks. Whatever happened to qualified and capable Athena?
I just let my guard down a little bit, but it won't happen again.
Then gird up your loins and steel yourself for battle.
I'm not girding up anything in this skirt, but I am ready to get serious. It seems there is now yet another soul I must cast down into hell.
I was in prison for a long time, and hell sounds no worse than cell, to be honest.
But the fires of hell will not be the end of your suffering. For the sin you have just committed, you shall surely be reborn as a panda in your next life. A white and black reverse
Panda, that is.
And you shall be put in a zoo to be exposed to public ridicule. I felt like that won't work on Prosecutor Blackwell. After all, he's already used to looking like a panda in this life.
Who are you calling a panda?
Sorry! I see that you're both prepared to face the fires of damnation. Geiru, thank you for your service. You may step down now. Okie dokie. Bye bye, balloon! Does everything have to be about balloons with her? Now then. I have a witness prepared to testify about the Cluta cards.
And who is the witness this time?
The first to discover the body and someone who witnessed the crime scene firsthand. Mr. Uendo, Toneido. The time has come for that ponytailed pair over there to finally let it all go and move on.
Very well. Let's bring in this witness then. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I am the Rakugo storyteller, Uendo Toneido. Even if my performance isn't worth watching, I will certainly watch my words. Everyone's posh in my world. I wouldn't want to say anything thoughtless and get arrested. After all, that'd be a raccoon no-no! Ha-ha! Thank you, everybody. Good night. You can't leave yet. You've only just introduced yourself. Oh, my. Are you a fan of mine, miss? Would you like my autograph? One moment. Ow! What do you think you're doing? And no need to stand on ceremony. My fan deserves a fan, after all. A fan for a fan! Nice one! Oh, why if it isn't Simon? How are you on this fine day, sir? Quite a dilly of a pickle we found ourselves in, wouldn't you say?
I don't believe I've ever seen you talk quite so much, Uendo.
Never performed in a place like this, you know. I got butterflies here, can't you see? Why do I always get the weird ones?
Pardon me, witness. As much as I enjoy your banter, I believe we had better return to the case at hand.
Ah, I suppose you're right. In that case... I was promoted to Futatsumi yesterday and received the stage name Uendo. The show was our way of celebrating my new name and middle rank standing. Ah! And then that happened. Ah. I never dreamed something like that had happened. Not in a million years. And just as I got my chance to start repaying my debt to Shisho too. Yeah. Plus, I'm worried about Geiru. The way she clung to Shisho. Poor thing. I told her to keep a stiff upper lip. Stiff like rigor mortis. Keep telling those lame jokes and Shisho will come scold you from the grave. I wouldn't mind getting yelled at, you know. Even meant seeing him again. Uendo, please. As charming as your various characters are, this isn't a Rakugo stage. Let's hear your testimony now, witness. Tell the court about the evidence left at the scene, the proof of the accused's guilt. Shisho's dying message. I noticed Shisho's dying message right away. The stiff cards were right there next to the stiff you see. Hey now, enough with the silly puns already. Anyway, I got the meaning right away. I knew it must have been talking about Bucky. That was the master's final message, left as he was drowning in sober broth. It's so like Shisho not to write Bucky's name outright. Plain and simple wasn't his style.
Well, that was certainly a more entertaining testimony than usual. The variety of characters performed by the witness was absolutely splendid.
But he shouldn't be performing any characters in the first place, Your Honor. And Uendo, the murder weapon hasn't been determined yet. So how could you say the victim was drowned in sober broth? It's obvious. All you have to do is look at the crime scene. He was found with his face shoved in a bowl. It's only natural to assume he was drowned in the broth for the noodles. Except we're not here to assume things, Uendo, so please stick to just the facts. My! It's so like a sober chef to kill someone this way, wouldn't you say? And with the Kaluta message he left behind, it's clear Bucky Wet did it.
Setting aside the issue of the murder weapon for now, that dying message certainly does seem to be irrefutable evidence.
Indeed, it proves the absolute guilt of the accused. Even if I've got to admit that I can't see how that message could mean anything else. Bucky used sober for the deed, all to get back the sober shop deed. This testimony makes Mr. Wet look super guilty. I had to do something.
That's his conclusive evidence. What a farce.
What do you mean, Simon?
What's this? I thought you said you weren't planning on asking me for help.
I did and I won't, thank you very much. Simon must have found an inconsistency in the testimony. I better listen carefully and try to see what he found. Interesting thing for this character, well, we can't find like a new voice for, is that technically this character would probably be changing voices every time it changes like faces in a sense. It itself going into multiple characters. It's too much for me. Where do I get my voices from? I've only got so many. I've only got so limited characters that one could express. I noticed Shisho's dying message right away. The stiff cards were right there next to... Oh, supposed to press, you idiot! Yes, you noticed Shisho's dying message right away.
Hold it!
I played the character of an idiot. Uendo, when you saw the cards on the table, what made you think they were Master Toneido's dying message? Well, it was a coded message right there next to the body. I'm sure anybody would have thought that they were there to name his killer. I love murder mysteries and often watch them on TV. Oh, I see. I saw a similar scene during a murder mystery marathon last Tuesday. That's what made me think this must be a dying message. The The stiff cards were right there next to the stiff, you see.
Hold it!
Puns. The cards were on the table your master's body was slumped over, right? You must have been surprisingly calm to notice them at the time. As I said, the stiff cards were right there next to the stiff, so they were hard to miss. But wouldn't it have been more natural to notice the victim rather than the cards? The message just caught my eye because the stiff cards were right there next to the stiff. Yes, but that fact hardly seems significant enough to make a person take note of them. Stiff cards next to the stiff. So basically, there was no real reason for them to catch your eye, was there? Hey now, enough of the silly puns already. You wanted a laugh. You're not gonna get one. From me. It was low-hanging fruit and a tasteless joke at this point in time, Uendo. But with witnesses coming and going as fast as anything and nothing really proven to anyone at this point in time, but now with Simon joining our side, we'll leave you for this episode of Phoenix Wright, Spirit of Justice. I'll see you next time for more. Bye-bye.